Are you ready to take your leadership from ordinary to extraordinary? If so, I have the perfect resource for you. My new book, The Hospitality Leader's Roadmap, Move from Ordinary to Extraordinary, is now available on Amazon in ebook, paperback, and audiobook formats. This book shares over 30 leadership lessons I've learned in my 20 years in the industry, starting as a line cook and working my way up to managing partner. It also includes 6 special episodes of my podcast that dive deeper into key leadership topics. Grab your copy on Amazon and don't forget to leave a review so others can learn from your takeaways. Thanks so much. Welcome to the No Hesitations podcast, the show where restaurant leaders learn tools, tactics, and habits from the world's greatest operators. I'm your host, Kristen Marvin, with Solutions by Kristen. I've spent the last 2 decades in the restaurant industry and now partner with restaurant owners to develop their leaders and scale their businesses without wasting time and energy so they can achieve work-life balance and make more money. You can now engage with me on the show and share topics you'd like to hear about, leadership lessons you want to learn, and any feedback that you have. Simply click the link at the top of the show notes, and I'll give you a shout out on a future episode. Thanks so much for listening, and I look forward to connecting. All right, we are at 9 o'clock here, so I think we can kick off and let a couple more people roll in. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this really exciting LinkedIn Live event. We are talking with Sydney Ryker today on behalf of selfpublishing.com. We're going to talk about the 3 key principles for growing your restaurant business with a book. I know I've talked to a couple of you that are on the call about this process and this journey, and you've seen all the celebration and all the work on LinkedIn. This is, as you know, a project that I just finished. I launched my book last week, The Hospitality Leader's Roadmap, Move from Ordinary to Extraordinary. And I have really fallen in love with this entire process and with selfpublishing.com and the different levels and layers of support that they've been able to offer. So if any of you know me, when I get excited about something, I'm like a dog with a bone, and I think everyone needs to know about it immediately. So I got a hold of Chandler, who owns selfpublishing.com, and I said, we need to get this in front of the audience of restaurateurs and those of you that are on the call that are entrepreneurs yourself and have incredible stories to tell. I've been able to hear some of yours, and I think everyone should write a book. You know, I think when I discovered self-publishing, it was in January, and I'd had the ambition over the last year or two to write a book as part of growing my business and creating a different revenue stream. But I'd had 2 chapters written, and I was just very intimidated by the process. And I wanted some accountability and someone to guide me on the journey. And I met Self-Publishing, did an hour consultation with them, and was completely sold. And I'll tell you, every step of the way, I've just had so much confidence in what they do. And I understand why they're successful. Sydney's going to talk a little bit about her role and what we're going to cover today. And then just all the wonderful, wonderful resources that they offer. So I cannot recommend them enough. I know there's a few companies out there in this space, but wanted to really share a little bit about the journey that I've been on and how this could potentially impact you and your business. So Sydney, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today from Cali, and I'll let you take it away.
Yes, thank you so much. It's such a great time getting to meet you, even in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah. I can tell why you've had the success you've had. You're so personable, and I can see why you've been successful in the food industry and the restaurant industry. But I'm really excited to be here. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to dive into a little bit of a slide deck here. Hopefully, it's going to be fun. Let me see if I do this. Okay, can you guys see my screen here?
Let me add it to the stage. And then Kimberly, if you want to give us a thumbs up in the comments, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be kind of shifting back and forth between my browser and the slide deck, so I'll keep my eye on the chat. But, really excited to be here. Obviously, Christian, you did such a great job of introing us, selfpublishing.com. But today, what I really want to talk about is the one thing, right? Writing a book. and how it's going to exponentially grow your business, your influence, and your impact. Right? Because writing a book is, I always look at constraints in business, right? What's the one thing that you can do that will make everything else easier or unnecessary? And I've really seen time and time again for people having a book, whether you are in the restaurant industry or you're a business owner in some other industry, it is truly the one thing that will help get more butts in seats at your restaurant, sell more food, build your credibility, build you as an authority in the space, right? Help you make more money, more impact, and more influence, which is really, as business owners, what we all set out to do anyways, right? And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And really, I believe, beyond the influence, impact, and income, books really do three things, right? Books inspire and motivate people, right? So I think of these top leaders, and we're getting like a little meta, a little esoteric, but I think it's important to start here with the big picture. Books inspire and motivate people. Right? When you really think about it, you might be like, oh yeah, I want to write a book to get more butts and seats at my restaurant. But at the end of the day, people's stories, right? The stories that we share, the books that we read, those words change lives. And so when I read the Steve Jobs book that was written by Walter Isaacson, reading about his life transformed how I did business. It brought a whole other level of excellence to how I operated in the world, right? Had I not read that book, I wouldn't be operating the way I do now. And so it inspires and motivates. Second thing it does is it helps us learn the easy way, not have to learn the hard way. Right? There's two types of ways to learn in life. There's from those who have come before us, and then there's learning the hard way, and it's usually a lot more painful, right? And so I always like to say, it's a wise man who learns from his mistakes, and even a wiser man who learns from others' mistakes, right? And the third thing books do is they give us eternal life. And this is so corny. A lot of people laugh at me when I do this piece live, but think about it. When you are long gone in your life, you're passed on. If you wrote a book and you put your message out to the world through that book, your message, the words you thought, the things you thought, those live on forever, right? Those thoughts live on forever, just like Socrates or Plato, right? Thousands of years later, 2,500 years later, their thoughts, we're still studying their thoughts and how life was back then. And so it gives you the opportunity to live far beyond just this life right now, which again, pretty out there. But I really do believe that books transform lives in so many ways. So I'm Sydney Ryker, obviously, like Christian mentioned. I've been a public speaker. I've been a business owner, a multi-time founder, and now a spokeswoman for selfpublishing.com. And that is because I realized, as I was probably about 8 years into my entrepreneurial journey, I was looking at how I had success, right? Even any level of success that I had in my 20s, I look at that as success because most people are just messing around in their 20s, right? And I distilled it down to, wow, book. I couldn't afford mentors. I couldn't afford new clothes. I couldn't afford to travel. I spent all of my pennies on books so that I could learn and teach myself. I was self-taught. I didn't go to business college or anything like that. I went to school to be a teacher. And so when I graduated, I started to read books because they were affordable and I could implement what I learned. And so I was in a place in my life where I realized that I want to find a way that I can combine my love of books and my love of business. And that's when I was introduced, of course, the universe likes to do that, to selfpublishing.com, where we help people change their lives through books. And so that's why I'm here. I'm really here to spread that message to help. I believe our goal is 100,000 people publish their books by 2035, right? And that includes people like all of you, service providers, right? Restaurateurs, whatever your job, however you label yourself. I really believe that the people who are providing world-class services, right, especially through food, which is something that isn't just food, right? We know that food is connection. Food is love. People express much further emotions than just hunger through food. And so what you guys are doing are you're creating experiences and curating experiences to create environments where people can come and connect with people, where they can come and feel loved in their relationships, on their special anniversaries, their certain occasions that they want to celebrate. And so what better way to expand that feeling of love and connection and support and culture and community than through writing a book to support you in getting the message out about what you're doing, right? And so I really believe that people like you are the new way. On top of that, obviously, 3 other reasons to write a book. Number 1 is business growth, right? We know that if we have more exposure, if more people know about us, more people are going to put their butts in our restaurant. More people are going to sign up for whatever it is we have, right? If you have a course, I don't know what everybody on here does, so I'm not going to make blanket statements, but whether you have a course, whether you run retreats, whether you want to get on stages, whether you just want a more successful business, right? A book will bring awareness to that. I think of people like Tony Robbins, right? Tony Robbins is never going to have any probably financial struggles, right? But he's written a lot of books. Everybody knows who he is. Had he not written his books where they were very accessible to people, people wouldn't always be able to go to his conferences and take his courses. But people will buy a book for $20, right? So it's always going to help you with your business growth.
I actually do have a really exciting event coming up in Tucson. I'm going to be holding a book launch party on Wednesday, October 30th at the MSA Annex at Westbound Tap and Bottle from 5 to 7. So please come down, grab a copy of the book for yourself, grab a few for your leadership team, your management team in your restaurants, and I'll be there signing books. So I hope to see you all there.
Howdy, listener. Are you also a podcaster seeking to stand out in the crowded audio landscape? I'm here to help. L. Connor Voice, LLC offers top-tier audio engineering, meticulous content management, and more, all tailored to save you time and elevate your podcast to new heights of professionalism. With L. Connor Voice, you can focus on what you do best, creating captivating content, while I handle the rest. Say goodbye to hours spent tweaking audio levels and managing uploads. I ensure your podcast shines with polished sound quality and seamless delivery. Ready to take your podcast to the next level? Contact L. Connor Voice, LLC today and make producing your podcast as easy as hitting record. For more information, go to lconnorvoice.com. Links are in the episode notes.
The second thing is influence. Right? People want to do business with people who are good at what they do and are seen as an authority in the space. Right? I don't know I should have done some research on some of the top restaurateurs in the world. But the top ones, I'm sure all of you, if you had the opportunity to interview them or have them on a stage with you or to be in the same room with them, you would be stoked about that. But most of those people most likely have a book, right? Most likely the people at the top of their field almost every single time have a book, even if it's ghostwritten, right? They have something that is accessible for a low ticket price that anybody can buy. Okay. So business growth, influence, and impact. And impact is why we do what we do. So as a business owner, I'm sure that yes, you probably started your business to make money or to create more freedom in your life. But at the end of the day, once you achieve certain levels of success, the main driving force becomes impact, right? Because it doesn't become about you anymore. It becomes about how can we serve other people. And honestly, having worked in the food industry in my teens and in college years, I don't think many people have a restaurant out of selfish reasons once they have it. They do it so that they can impact other people, right? Because it's a grind and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. You guys work your ASSs off for sure. And so I know it's about impact. And so when you think about the people who come up to you and they say, oh my gosh, eating here changed my life. Oh, I remember going there on my anniversary and we got engaged, or we had this amazing wedding party at your restaurant. It's like, that's why we do what we do, right? That's the real reason we do what we do, to hear those things. And that becomes more when you have credibility, when you have more people coming through your doors, and that's all possible through a book. Okay. So we have a lot of examples. I'm going to show you and bust through these, but we have people like Mike Acker, who wrote, edited, and published his book in 27 days. He's made $600,000 just on the royalties of this one book, went on to write 14 more books since then, and then built a massive business. He was a pastor before, and now he's one of the top speaking coaches in the world, has a multi-million-dollar coaching business, right? Books can truly, and he had never written a book before, right? 27 days, and now it's completely changed his life, right? So many cool testimonials. We have Eileen Wilder, also started, funny enough, I don't know why I linked these together, but also started as a pastor, was living in a studio bedroom apartment, started writing her book, and now has a 7-figure coaching business, has shared stages with Tony Robbins, has really created a lot of impact, income for her family, obviously, and influence in her life, having, created now a big following. And so there's really, let's see if these all pop up together. They're a little, here we go. Usually when I talk about writing a book, especially when I'm on stages, I'm always like, how many of you guys have a but ... right? And but ... is like, oh, this sounds great, but ... And then you fill in your excuse as to why you believe you can't do it, right? And so we all have but ... We all have objections as to why we haven't written a book, or we would have written one already. And usually it boils down to one of these 3 things. Who am I to write a book? Imposter syndrome. I don't have enough time, and I don't know how, right? Other than that, there's really no other excuses as to why we haven't done it. It's either we don't believe we can do it, we don't have the time to do it, which is probably a lot of you. And then some of you, it's just, I don't know how. And so I want to kind of break down these, they're not myths because they're real, but I want to break these challenges down because these are the things that we see with the majority of our clients. And we have to help them kind of overcome and break through these limiting beliefs so that we can actually get a book out there in the world. Okay. So the first one, who am I to write a book? I always like to say, most people on this, video that are watching, most likely feel like they have a purpose or a calling on their heart in their life, maybe a message that they feel like they want to share with the world, right? I don't believe that any human is on this planet without a purpose. And if we don't have a purpose, man will perish, right? It's really, really hard to continue to wake up every day and go work as hard as you guys do without a purpose. And you might not be clear on that message that you do want to share with the world, but I really believe that each and every one of us has a unique and special offering that we are here to offer the world, or we wouldn't be here. And so I always say that you are you, and that's all you need to be, right? The only thing is most people that are not successful versus most people that are successful is we let fear stop us, right? We let fear get in the way of what we want. And so we say, I don't think I can write a book. Like, who am I? I'm an imposter. I'm a phony. I'm a fraud. Like those are the deep, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm unlovable, right? Those are the deep, deep rooted beliefs. But what we have to realize is we all feel those things. And so the only difference between the person who doesn't take the action to write a book and the person that does and has all the success is that they feel the fear to do it anyways, right? Despite all those limiting beliefs and all those fears, they feel the fear to do it anyways, okay? If you don't feel like you have enough time to write a book, then I would challenge you in the way that we all have the same 24 hours in a day as Beyonce, right? We always hear that. Everybody has the same 24 hours as Beyonce and Oprah. And how do they get so much more done? The time thing is less about time and it's more about our priorities in life, right? And so we have to look at what are our priorities and where are we putting our time? Because wherever we put our time and wherever we put our money is directly correlated to what we value in life. And so if we have kids, we probably prioritize our time with them. If we have our business that needs us, we probably prioritize that. And so if this is something that is really important to you and you see the value in what this can actually do for your life, there's no way you won't prioritize and make the time for a short season of your life to get this out in the world if your message is that strong. So someone like Christian, she just launched her book. She probably spent a lot of time over the last year getting that done. But guess what? It took a year and now it's done. It doesn't have to be forever. She doesn't have to commit the time for years and years and years and years to write this book. She did it once and now it will continue to produce forever. Okay. So it's a matter of prioritizing it short term so that you can have the result and grow the impact, grow the influence, grow the income long term. Okay. So time, it's a matter of priorities. And I don't know how is a great question to ask. And we're going to get into that today. So I'm going to answer that one. But if you're asking like, okay, I feel like, I believe in myself to write a book. I'll create the time if it's something that's important to me, but I don't know how. That's where someone like self-publishing, yes, we come in and we can actually help you to overcome this. That's a great question to be asking. It probably means that you should write a book. Okay. Any questions? Anything to add?
I would just add, Sydney, I love what you said about having this be a lower ticket item. I know for me, this is something that I wish I would have done the minute I started my business when I had the time in my schedule and I was growing my network. I really wanted, I kind of struggled with finding my value when I was first beginning my coaching business. Like, are people going to pay this? How much money do I actually need to make per client in order to pay the bills, right, and contribute to the household?
Yep.
And I love that, we offer, a lot of us offer as much value and free content as possible, but this is just such a beautiful step up and a middle ground for people to get to know you, to spend a few hours with you at a lower ticket price so that they can, fall in love with you and really resonate with your work and then move on to that next step and investment with coaching. So it's just a wonderful tool.
It is. Yeah, it really is. And it's accessible, right? People might not spend $5,000 with you, but once they read your book and they spend 20 hours with you, right? They say, oh, wow, I really trust this person. Now, if there's a coaching program on the table, she's already changed my life. She's already impacted me so much. I should probably consider working with her, right? And that's just an evergreen opportunity for you to generate more leads in whatever that, sense that looks like. Okay, so thank you for that. So at selfpublishing.com, I'm going to walk you guys through the process of what it looks like, the how of writing your book. Okay. And so, really writing, editing, publishing, and marketing. Those are the 4 steps to writing your book. And so this is going to be a little bit interactive if you guys are here with me. Oh, good. You have so many how do I do this type questions. Thank you, Christine, for sharing that. That's great. We're getting right into it. So essentially, the steps that you're going to look at, right? This is for anyone who's writing and self-publishing a book. Write, edit, publish, market. Very simple. And when we start with writing or inception of the idea, you can even say pre-writing. First of all, we have to decide, what do you even care enough to talk about to write, 200 and some odd pages about, right? And so what I'd like to take the next probably 5 minutes and do is figure that out with you guys, because that's the backbone of you being able to write, edit, publish, and market, right? The writing and publishing, editing, market is the constant for everyone. And the unique piece of this is, what are you going to do all of that about? Okay. And so I'm going to give you guys a couple different brainstorm ideas if you're like, I don't really know what I want to write about, or maybe you do. Okay. So I guess we don't have a ton of engagement in the chat, but if you are in the chat, the question would be, how many of you have no idea what you'd want to write a book about? Okay. No matter what camp you're in, it's fine. And then the second question is, how many of you have too many ideas? Like, some people have so many ideas. They're like, I have 12 different book ideas. Like, I've put people at events come up to me and they're like, I have 25 book ideas that I wrote down. I have too many, right? Which is great. It means that if you have so many ideas, we got to narrow it down. What's the most important, right? So Christine, for example, I have the ideas, the stories, it's just putting it all together. Okay, perfect. So we're in a perfect use case. And here's the deal. Like I said, most people think that successful authors, right, are born knowing what their message is. That is not true at all. When I went to go write my book, I was like, I was kind of a mix. I was like, I have so many things I could do it on, but it's not really anything I care enough about to write 200 pages on. And that is totally okay. Okay, we got Kedner with too many ideas as well. Okay, so we got a lot of too many ideas. So this is great. The thing is, no matter where you're at, it's okay. You don't have to know without a shadow of a doubt what the idea is. Not everybody is born knowing, but you just have to take the first step. So you just have to pick what I always say, what lights you up, what excites you the most, and then follow that excitement. And it's going to evolve and it's going to shift and change as you write the book. You don't have to know the whole story before you get, to it. I like to plot out pieces and then write and fill in the gaps and let the story kind of tell itself. Okay. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to help you guys. If you do have too many ideas, looks like some of you have too many ideas, quite a few of you. We're going to narrow it down. So if you're here with me, take out a piece of paper or type it on your computer if that's easiest. But I want to have you, first of all, brainstorm all of those ideas that are in your head. Okay. And if you don't have any ideas, here's some examples. Okay. What are the broken record conversations that you're having with every new client or prospect or person in your restaurant, right? Whatever it may be. What's the special sauce that makes your business unique or different? And then what are the pain points or triggers that cause people to do business with you? So your challenges that your clients are going through that they come to you for. Okay, so if you have no ideas, those are some prompts. If you have too many ideas, write all of them down. Start to just brainstorm and dump all of them out so that we can have a clear picture of all of the ideas that you have. Okay, I'll try and not go through this too fast, but I'll give you a little bit of time to type. And as you do this, this is one of the most important pieces. It's very easy to operate only from our head, right? What will grow our business? What will get us more leads? What will get my name out there? What will get me on stages if that's something that you want to do? And that's very heady, which is great. But what I found is that the most effective books are the ideas that come from the heart. Okay. And so what I want you to do as you're brainstorming these ideas, write all the ones from the head and also honor and write the ones from the heart. The ones that are scary, the ones that are ooey gooey, right? The stories and the things that like you maybe feel like this is probably the one I should write, but I don't want to. You don't have to write it. That's okay. But write it down on your paper. Some examples of this would be what breaks your heart, right? What makes you cry? Like actually, if we're going there, what makes you emotional in the world? What keeps you up at night? What do you stay up thinking about that you wish you could change or make a difference in? What are you passionate about? What gets you out of bed every single day to do what you do and work so hard? Which I'm sure everybody on here does because we're on LinkedIn, right? We're all hard workers here. And I know this is again, corny. I'm like corny town central, but I think it's important to understand that the most impactful books any of us have read are not always the best logistical things, right? It's always the things that pull at our heartstrings. And what I found is the best way to operate, if we can, the most beneficial, is to choose the ideas that come from our heart. And usually those head ideas are supporting factors in the book creation, and they fit in to the book creation. Okay, so if you guys are here, I see all your comments. Comment in the chat if you have any ideas that are coming to mind that you like. Okay, great. And here's the thing. This is a perfect quote for this. The people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. And so as you're writing these ideas down, remember that a Steve Jobs didn't change the world by being like, how am I going to get more leads to Apple? It was like, how am I going to revolutionize technology? How am I going to help the end consumer? His ideas were so beyond what we can even comprehend because the things he created didn't even exist until him. Right. And so start to think more innovatively as out of the box instead of just how can I, short term get more leads to my business or whatever your goal may be. Oh, I heard that loud. I love that.
Yeah, so I love Sydney too. I love what Christine said. I know more than I thought from this conversation. It's incredible when you do a brain dump like this and a brainstorming conversation. It's sometimes it's exciting, but then it's also like, oh gosh, where do I go from here?
Totally. Yeah. And it's so true. It's so true. And I don't know if it's the right place to do this, but I'm going to invite all of you into an activity, whether it's today or tomorrow, or I would recommend doing it today once we get off this Zoom. But I really invite you to, what I like to do with our clients is have you sit in silence in meditation, right? Because then we want to take all these ideas. You're going to have 50 ideas on your paper, just everything you can think of. And you're going to be like, oh my God, now which one do I do? Right. And so I invite you to close your eyes and to drop in and allow yourself to imagine. I call it the mountaintop exercise. I invite you to imagine you're at the top of a mountaintop and looking down. And you look down and you see all of the people on the planet start to arrive at the base of your mountain. Okay. And they're looking up at you and they're waiting for a message. They're waiting for a message that when they hear it, they're going to implement it and it's going to get into their body cellularly and they're going to go use it and spread it in the world for good. And just ask yourself, ask your higher self, ask whatever it is you believe in, right? To reveal to you what that message is that you're here to give the world. And when you can do that and just sit in the listening, the answer, if you wait long enough, will reveal itself. And so, again, I mean, we could even do that right now, but you get the gist of it. And that's how you're going to identify what that topic is. Okay. And you can also use things like, of course, what's going to help my business grow the most? Questions like, what's going to help my business grow the most? And what can I get done? What can I actually get done and get done efficiently and quickly and actually complete, right? Because writing the book, especially the first draft, is how can I just get this done and tell myself the story of what I want to do? And then I'll go back, edit later, and I have support in the editing process. Okay, love this. Thank you, Kimberly. I'm watching the people interact, watching them create their own chaos. And I have the knowledge, I have the knowing how to eliminate. Amazing. Thank you, Christine. That's such a great share. Okay, so maybe we'll take a second. And I just invite you, if you haven't already or didn't do it while I was doing that, take a second and ask your higher self, of all these things on your piece of paper, all the people looking up at you from planet Earth at the base of your magical mountaintop, right? What is the one message you're here to give them? Just ask yourself. And I'll give an example. For myself, when I did this exercise, I thought I was going to be writing about like operations or sales or recruiting, because that's what I thought I knew the most about. And it is what I know a lot about. But I did this activity and I realized that it was actually about a whole process of me deconstructing my identity and what that process was like, of sitting with a monk for over 1,000 hours over the last 5 years and sharing those messages and those lessons of how to heal so that we can operate in the world in a way that feels aligned and isn't draining and exhausting. And when that message came through for me, I was terrified, because I was like, oh my gosh, that's not the one I want to write about. It's more safe for me to write about sales or, recruiting. But then that message came through and I knew that that was the one that I was meant to share right now with the world. Okay. Any questions, Christine, so far before I jump into the logistics of how to write their book? No? Cool. So essentially, all right. So what you're going to do now that you have your concept or idea, and if you want to decide later, you totally can, but this is going to be the process that you're going to go through. So I think it was Christine that asked the how. Yes. Okay. So here's the how, Christine. The first step is going to be to mind map your idea. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your idea that you come up with, and we're going to go back to second grade, and we're going to be mind mapping our idea, right? So how you do this is you write your book topic in the middle of the page. So once you do your meditation and you decide what the topic is that you want to write, you're going to write that idea in the middle of the page. Okay. So whether it's the passion, the hobby, the occupation, right? You should write a book about that thing that we just decided in the middle. And then around that, you're going to brain dump everything that you can think of on that topic. So just like we brain dumped our ideas, now you're going to brain dump within that idea. What are the things that you know? What are the stories that you have, right? What are the examples, the lessons learned, the books, the ideas? And I think it was Christine or Kimberly who said, I have all the things. It's just, how do I organize them? Right? So first we got to brain dump it all out. Then our type A can take it and organize it into an outline, which is step 2. So first step, brain dumping. This is what it's going to look like, right? Very second grade, mind mapping. So for cookbook recipes, for example, you'd have all the different meals. And then within that, you would brainstorm all the different meals that could go within those big meals, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, desserts, and then the small meals within those. Okay. Then we take that, we put it into an outline. And this is where you get to organize it. So sections and chapters is how this works. So here's the example with the cookbook recipes. Okay. And I'm going to kind of bust through this quickly. If you guys ever need to rewatch this, obviously this is going to be here. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, desserts, snacks. You take those and you put them into sections and chapters. So what you're going to do is you're going to literally take your mind map and you're going to put it into an organized outline so that then you can do the R step of the more writing methods. So we have mind map, outline, rough draft, MORE. Okay. Rough draft is the fun part. You actually get to fill in your outline. So what I like to do is, because I'm a talker, I like to go into my voice memos app on my phone, and I found that I can talk faster than I can write. And so what I like to do, and what a lot of our clients like to do, because a lot of you guys, your expertise, you don't write about it every day, but you talk about it a lot, right? It's always the conversations that you're in. And so your rough draft, we can literally have you write this in as little as a weekend. So your rough draft, what you want to do, voice memo app, talk your chapter. So you have your outline and you say, okay, I'm talking about breakfast today. So what do I want to, okay, I'm going to talk about breakfast, and this is how you talk about your section, and then you can transcribe it through an app, rev.com, rev.com. Okay. And when you transcribe it through Rev, it's going to literally dictate everything you just said. You can go through and edit it. We have people do this and literally write or speak their book in 4.5 hours for a long book. Right. And that's how you can actually write your book in a weekend. That's why we have such a high success rate at selfpublishing.com, because we have our clients write their or speak their book versus type their book all the time. You can also type it if you feel like typing. I recommend doing an hour a day. And if you can do an hour a day, about 1,000 words a day, you can get a 15,000 to 60,000 word book done in, what is that? 15 to 60 days, depending on how fast you are and how much time you can commit. Maybe you wake up early and do it in the morning. Maybe you do it a little bit later after your shifts at night, right? We fit it in. Okay. And so, sorry, I got to go back and forth between the slide decks. Here's an example. Hayden Crabtree. He has a #1 real estate book in his category over the last 3 years. He wrote his book over Christmas vacation or Thanksgiving break when he was 26 years old, 232 pages. And he has generated $320,000 in total revenue from that book, which is just absolutely crazy. Okay. So thank you. Good stuff. Thank you. Great stuff. Thank you. Thank you guys for interacting. That's great feedback for me. So we mind map, we outline, we rough draft, and then we edit. And the editing is where I recommend you get support from somebody else. This is something we do for all of our clients. We're not professional editors here. We don't have our masters in English, right? And so this is something where I recommend you outsource it, and you just give it, you write your book 50-yard line, the editor takes it and gets it to the 100-yard line. Okay. And this is something we do for all of our clients at self-publishing. And then we got to publish the book, right? So we did the more writing method. Now we're at the publishing part of this process. And this, again, I'm going to skip through these. These are a bunch of testimonials, but, publishing is really just getting your book from finished manuscript of a bunch of pages that are like Times New Roman, double space font in your, Google Doc into a book that people can read. Formatting, distribution, getting it up on Amazon, right? Getting the book into a cover design, back cover flap, right? All those little nitty gritty details to get it readable so that somebody can pick up the form in an actual book. Okay. That's publishing. So we have tons of people. Testimonials. We could do this for days, but really the way that you're going to generate business for yourself or generate revenue for your business is really 3 steps in the marketing of your book. You got to launch it, you got to market it, and then you got to monetize it, right? And we're all business people here. We all know this, but I love this quote by Robert Kiyosaki, because a lot of us on this call are probably not writers. We are business people, right? And so Robert Kiyosaki, most people know this guy, and it's because of this quote. He's not the best author in the world, but he is one of the best salesmen in the world. And he says, I want to be the best selling author, not a best writing author. So the marketing piece of your book is huge. The book is not done when you write it. The book is not done when you edit it. The book is not done when you publish it. The book is done pretty much never, because it's always an asset that you can actually own, that you can sell, and that you can continue to sell for years and years to come. Even after you're gone, you're going to be making money on that book, right? And so the book process never ends. when you think of marketing. If you're really wanting to market this, to have an asset that's income producing for you without you having to work to do it, right? And for a lot of you, if you guys have your restaurant, right? A lot of you don't own the buildings. You don't own those assets. This is something that will actually allow you to have an asset that you own and that you can control because you self-publish. And so you can spread the word about your book by sending it to clients, doing giveaways, right? If it's relevant to your restaurant, you could technically give every person that comes through your door a book, and it becomes a referral machine, right? Because you seed in your restaurant, you seed in your business, you seed in your offer, whatever that may be. If you want to use it to leverage it to get on stages, on podcasts, right? This is all something that you can do. And it may not be something you want to get on stage to do to promote your book, but it's at least an option if that's something that you want to do. And we found it's the best way to generate leads and revenue. We do about $8 million a year in stages alone because of the books we've written as a company, right? It's a huge, huge asset. So when you market well, you're going to make more book sales. You're going to get more leads in the form of either clients or people coming to your restaurant. You're going to get more referrals because no one throws books away, right? They always give them away, even at Goodwill, right? It might end up in a Goodwill bin, but that's better than nothing in the trash, right? You're going to scale your impact. You're going to be seen as a go-to authority in your field, right? And when we do this, again, tons of transformations of people that are just like you, that watched some sort of presentation just like this and decided to write a book, and it's changed their impact, their influence, and or their income, right? We have Dr. Jonathan Su, sold 30,000 copies of his book. We have Elisa, who now has 32 million downloads on our podcast because of her book, 6 Pillars of Intimacy. You've probably seen it. It's best-selling on Amazon. We have an 8-year-old that wrote a book and then gave all of the proceeds away to autism awareness. So if we feel like we can't write a book, it's an 8-year-old did it. So I always like to put this one in here just to show us that we can do it too. We have Megan Whitmer, who won a ton of awards for her book, Mom Life, right? And so hopefully this is valuable for you guys still. A lot of you may be here, 38 minutes later, and realizing that writing a book is the one thing that you can do that will scale your business, scale your impact, your influence, and help you potentially even generate up to 6 figures of revenue for your business, right? Some people this year. And the reality is some of you will do nothing with that information, right? That's just like the numbers, right? And that's okay. But most people that are busy and like you guys, and you have a lot going on, you're successful people, unless you have a support system and a team and direction in where to go, you're not going to take the time to write a book, even though you see it to be valuable. And so that's why we've created selfpublishing.com, right? That's why we're here. We want to support people in the writing, editing, publishing, and marketing of their book. And so that's where we come in and support people, right? We're going to support you I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to book a call with our team, right? But if we feel like it's a good fit to work together, this is something that we've done 9,000 times. We help 9,000 authors publish their books successfully, many best-selling, especially on Amazon, right? But a lot of you don't want to take the time to do all of this. For me, the last thing I want to do is be editing a book cover. I don't know what's going to look good. I don't know what's going to sell. This is where we come in and we can help you with the entire process. And so you're not having to do it alone. So you're not having to write the book alone. We hook people up with a book coach to support them, right? We edit your book for you. We publish your book for you. And we will in tandem market your book with you and for you, whether it be through Amazon ads, your content, helping you create content, by helping you get on podcast outreach strategies so that you can be a guest on podcasts. But we're going to support you every step of the way if it's something that you would like to do. And so before I pass it on back and do Q&A, if we have any questions, if you feel like after watching this or hearing this, you feel a tug on your heart, you feel like it's something that you know you've been wanting to do and you've been putting it off. And if you don't do it now, 3 years from now, you're going to be in the same situation, probably watching me on some other webinar somewhere, right? If you plan to do this in the next 6 to 12 months, to write a book, to use it as a leverage piece for your business, to drive more revenue, to increase your income, to increase your impact, your influence in the world, your authority in the world, then we are doing, in partnership with Christian, free strategy sessions to help you guys do just that. So what that will look like You can scan this QR code on the screen. You can type in, if it doesn't work for whatever reason, selfpublishing.com/Christian. And we have a team standing by to chat with you guys, to support you guys, to answer any questions that you have, and to give you a roadmap. So whether we work together or not, right, you can at least have some starting points, and we can share with you what we think about your book and all of that stuff. And so that's what I have for you guys. Again, we would love to work with you. It seems like the people that are on here, super engaged and also super successful and crushing it. And I would love to be able to just have that conversation with you guys and see how we can help you. And again, it's the crazy ideas that change the world. And so that's what we're really here for, to partner with the people who have the crazy ideas and help them bring that to life through a book. So, Christian, I can hand it back to you.
Awesome. Sydney, thank you so much. That was absolutely incredible. I just want to check in. I know Christine had mentioned earlier, I'm just not sure how. Christine, did you have any additional questions that we didn't answer?
Great question.
And while she is typing anything, I will just say, Sydney covered the wonderful, wonderful path and the framework that selfpublishing.com provides. Within that framework, though, there are so many wonderful resources beyond the coach, courses you can take to follow along, checklists, a community inside the self-publishing network that you can, I'm in the process of marketing my book right now. So jump on a call each week and find out what other people are doing to market. I've had I've joined the Facebook group, which has been awesome to help me answer some little bitty questions here and there. So it's really an all-encompassing platform that helps guide you through every single stage. Because when I started this process, I had no idea about what questions I needed to ask. And some of that stuff you're just not going to know until you actually get into the process, but they are there with you every step of the way, which is incredible. They are always available, which is awesome. So,
yeah. Yes, we have such a great team, such a great support system. And again, just from writing my own book, from personal experience, because I'm technically a client of selfpublishing.com, right? It's like I'm using their services firsthand. And I'm a big self-starter. I don't do accountability groups. I don't do courses. I'm very much like a solo dolo person. And I don't know if I would have completed this book without the team, because there's so many pieces that come into play that you don't even realize when you first start. And so it's so good to have people who have just done it and they're pros at what they do. And they have the experience to back it up,
Love it. I love it. Couple things for you guys that are on the call. Again, we mentioned the selfpublishing.com/Kristen link for you. I'm going to send this StreamYard link to each of you after we get done here. In addition, if somebody jumped on and then jumped off, I'll send that out to you as well. And then I'm going to have it available on my podcast on Monday of next week. So on the No Hesitations Restaurant Leadership podcast for you. And you can find the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. And then obviously, if you have any other questions, we all know how to connect on LinkedIn. But I'd be happy to help you any way that I can.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, I would love to see anybody who ends up working with us. I would love to chat with you, connect with you, and see how we can help you with bringing your book to life. And then obviously when your books come out, hit me up. I'll buy it. I'll leave a rating and review. I'll read it. I'll be on your book team to help you boost all of the algorithms and stuff.
I love it. We all need that. Awesome. Well, I guess that'll do it for us. Then we'll go ahead and end the call. Again, thank you, Laura, Christine, Kimberly, Kedner. Thank you all so much for joining us. Sydney, thanks for taking time out of your schedule. And we'll look forward to following you on YouTube and LinkedIn and TikTok and following your journey as well. So,
yeah, thank you guys.
You bet. Have a great day, everybody.